Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. Hello, my name is Joshua Mercer, realtor with Premier Chicago Real Estate investor, and the host of the Go Fish Village podcast. Through a series of podcast interviews, boot camps, forums, meetups, and more, our goal is to educate people on the benefits of real estate. Follow us now on social media to keep up with our movement, or subscribe now at www.gofishvillage.com to join our email list. Hello and welcome to the Go Fish Village podcast. I'm the host of Go Fish Village, Joshua Mercer, also a realtor with Premier Chicago Real Estate. Here at Go Fish, our saying is, if you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Teach him how to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. Today, we got some very special guests on the show. Very excited to welcome Sharnice Sellers and Byron Sellers. I'm talking about cars repossessed, Uber driving, fired from their job. Now we talking about 7 figures, owning 4 mobile home communities.
Yes, sir.
Educating over hundreds of people, doing hundreds of deals, not just in the Chicagoland area, but all across the country. So I definitely want to thank you guys. These are the owners of Mobile Home Elite Investors. So Byron Sellers and Sharnice Sellers, thanks for coming on the show.
Man, we truly appreciate you.
Yes, thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So first, mobile homes. I watched it. I did some research on you guys, and I read that mobile home investing has like the highest cash on cash return out of pretty much any investment. How did you guys even find out and get into this market? Because I would have never thought that was the case.
Yeah, man. So I've been wanting to get into real estate since like 2014, right? And pretty much, doing a lot of research, going to different things. And I remember my buddy told me, he was like, man, if you really want to build wealth, you got to get into real estate. So I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah. So I got real close. I almost got a property on 79th and Ridgeland. And then the basement flooded March 2nd. I go to pretty much try to negotiate that. They wouldn't negotiate. I go to work the next day, March 3rd, I was fired from my job. So now I'm like, you know what? Like, okay, how I'm going to get a crib? Because all I knew was I got to get a mortgage to get a crib. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm hustling and everything like that. I'm trying to find different things. I'm start driving Lyft. And I came across a podcast. I was listening to podcasts about mobile home investing. So I'm like, mobile homes. And the lady, first time I hear, she like, yeah, I buy mobile homes for $2,000, $3,000. I'm like, wait, hold on. My pastor's in the back like, man, turn that off. We want to turn up some music. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I sent it to her. I'm like, man, hold on. I think this could be interesting. I sent it to her. I got home. She like, babe, I know you want to do real estate, but now we doing mobile homes.
Wow. So you got fired from your gig and you was driving Uber. And I also read, you was taking L's, man. So you took that L, you sent it to your girl at the time, now your wife. Well, why mobile homes? That's totally out of, did you grow up in a mobile home community?
Nah, man.
No, so I was going to say, so we did not grow up in a mobile home community. I'm from the east side of Chicago. Byron's from the south suburbs. So growing up in a big city like Chicago, we ride past trailer parks, especially ride past. You don't really look at it like, oh, this is a potential investment. You ride past it like, again, that's trailer trash, the stigma, right?
Yeah.
So when he sent me that podcast, the main things that I heard was you can get started with low cost. Credit did not have to be good. The competition is not a lot of people doing mobile home investing. So you got to think at the time, Byron and I, we were both fired from our jobs. Like income was low. So I'm like, babe, like.
Both was fired.
Right. We both was fired. So you got to understand, like he's trying to save up money and, get his credit together so he can potentially get a mortgage for a building here in Chicago. But I'm like, babe, like, let's go just get like a $10,000 loan and try this mobile home investing because I feel like we can get 10,000. It's harder to get that large mortgage, but we can definitely get 10,000 with our situation right now. So that's what we did.
So, I'm hearing all type of, I give advice to people all the time, and I would say, don't, go get a loan if you ain't got a job to support paying that back. What was it that really stood out to you and said, I'm gonna make this happen? Because my story is somewhat similar in that I remember I bought my first building And I remember the mortgage being more than what my monthly income was. But it was something in me that just said, just do it anyway. What made you go forward with mobile home investing, being that you didn't have a job and this was totally out of the norm from what you was used to?
Yeah, man. So for me, like you said, I took a lot of L's. Like that summer, as soon as I was fired, I'm like, you know what? I'm not turning around. I'm not working for nobody else. I'm not going through this feeling no more. I've been fired about 5 times, bro. I'm like, I'm not going through this no more. And so, again, like I said, I started hustling. So the first thing I'm going to MLMs because, hey, look at this Audi right here. Look at this. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm about to do this. So I'm trying MLMs. Then I start making Snapchat filters. I'm like, ain't nobody doing this. So I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let me go ahead and start trying to sell these Snapchat filters. Wow. So the worst thing I was doing was I was targeting rappers. And a lot of people don't know rappers don't make money. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So now I'm trying to hustle this. I'm trying to Snapchat filters. I'm trying other marketing. I'm trying all these different things and I'm failing, right? But it's just the momentum of me doing it. And at the same time, I was in a life coaching program. You know what I'm saying? Because now I'm like, I'm about to be a life coach. At the same time, think about this. I ain't got no job. I ain't got no money. And I'm telling you like, hey, man, let me help you with your life. So, of course, I'm not getting no clients. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So all this repetitiveness, I'm like, man, you know what? Like, I want to get in real estate. Something's going to work. You know what I'm saying? And so for us, it was just like, when we saw that, we was like, we know we can go get at least $5,000 to $10,000. Yeah. Like, and the good thing what held me was the fact that since I was driving Lyft, that let me, you know what I'm saying? That showed that I had income. Man. Yeah, shout out to Lyft, for real. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of, I work with I've been an entrepreneur, man, 10 years. And it's hard working with my wife, even when the business is going right. You know what I mean? Y'all both unemployed. What was that like? Did that draw y'all closer together in that beginning? Like, what made you be like, hey, you ain't got no job. I ain't got no, let's go get this loan. How did that, tell me about the emotions of like getting started early in business when all you got is really your wits?
Yeah. So I would say that being both entrepreneurs and working together, it did bring us together in our relationship because we spent so much time together building, whether it was listening to podcasts or going out to mobile home parks in the beginning. Like, we're traveling sometimes 3-4 hours back and forth. So we got nothing but time and opportunity to continue to learn each other, love on each other. That's really what it was about. So I would say in the beginning, it definitely brought us together. But I will say we had to learn about each other outside of that personal relationship and really learn each other in business. Like, what roles do we have? Because I think when you first get started, we both were trying to do everything. Like, we didn't really define our roles in the beginning. So I would say that's what really helped us, is by defining the roles and then also keeping our, of course, personal relationships separate from our business.
Man, so that's dope. So walk me through the first deal. So I know that you got the loan for 10. I think you bought 2 mobile homes and you like 10x that situation. So walk us through that first mobile home deal.
Yeah. So, we almost got in Gary, Indiana. It was a guy, he was trying to sell us a mobile home for like $8,000 and it was only worth literally like $1,000. Right. And so some told this guy was like, no, I don't get this. When I wanted it, when she was just like, no, just hold off. So she ended up finding this guy on Facebook that had Facebook Marketplace that was having some mobile homes. So we went to go see it. And before we had saw nothing but trash. Like, we were just like, but at the same time, coming from like you looking at single family homes and things, you think like renovations, you're like, oh yeah, we can do this. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So these homes look immaculate compared to what we have been seeing. So I remember we asked him how much he wanted. He wanted $6,000 for one. He wanted the other one, he wanted $1,500. So he was gonna get both. So he was just make me an offer. So Sharnice was like, man, make
like $6,000 for one mobile home?
$6,000 for one and 15. So it would have been $7,500 for both, right?
So how is it that a mobile home could be $6,000 and like a Dodge Neon is like $30,000? Like,
so that's
I used to have a Dodge Neon too.
No, me too. That was my first car to college.
That was my first car too. Okay. Shout out Dodge Neon.
But the reason why is because of the value. Like, we in the Midwest and everybody talk about trailer trash, right? Mm-hmm. And so they, according to institutions, they depreciate. They're a depreciating asset, right? So just like like a car when it's driven off the lot, the value goes down. So if it's a 1980 every year the value goes down per institution.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, make us an offer. I'm like, she like offering 4,000. I'm like, you sure? She like, yeah, offering 4,000. So I ain't gonna lie, I should have listened to her. I'm like, I'll give you 4,300. He like, sold.
Oh wow.
So I'm
like, he would have did it for 4,000.
So back up. So you buy it for 4,000, but what was your why did you say 4,000? Like, did y'all have like some type of model that you were saying this is 4,000?
No, honestly, I think at the time, I don't remember what podcast I listened to, but it was talking about when you're negotiating, you got to say a number that scares you. So I was like, yeah, just offer 4,000.
That's a bar right there.
Yeah, the most he can say is no, right? And then if he says no, then you can negotiate up.
So you buy that one for 4 G's, and then y'all bought another one, right?
Well, so we got 2 for $4,300.
Okay, so you buy 2 for $4,300. How do you turn that into 19 grand?
Yeah. So one was move-in ready. Like, we didn't have to do nothing to it but market it. They had just renovated it, and he gave it to us for the low because that community had 636 units. So for them, they just wanted to fill the lot rent, right? Which is like an HOA. That's what people pay a month, or basically leasing the land. So the other one pretty much got for $500.
So walk me through the lot rent. How does that work?
Yeah. So as a park owner, you make money from the dirt. Right. So every single mobile home that's on the land, you get paid per each, just like a HOA, like a home association fee. So in this case, this park, again, 636 units. 636 units was charging $575 per unit.
Okay.
So yeah,
what's that like?
300,000.
300,000 a month.
Yes.
Oh wow. Light bulb.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. That's all we needed.
That was
the
game changer. Yeah. That's when we was like, okay, this the game we want to play.
Y'all like, baby.
Oh yeah, baby,
baby. Facts. Okay, so how do you turn? So I know you was getting paid 39 grand from your job at the time. Mm-hmm. You made 19 grand over how long a period of time?
So it took about 45 days, I would say.
No, he's saying about your job though. How long did it take you to make 19,000?
19,000.
Well, no, like to flip that.
Oh, okay, my bad.
How long? It took 45 days.
Yeah,
to
45 days.
Yeah.
And so you bought it for 4,300, and then you end up adding value to those, and you resold them. You made a $19,000 margin.
Yep.
Okay, so now you had this aha moment.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you working. I'm sure like you physically at work, but mentally you probably on Craigslist and every other search engine, possible. So like how did the conversation shift, from being fired to now, you took out this loan, you walking away with 19 grand. What's the energy like now, when y'all talking about opportunity?
Man, it's like
we lit.
We made it,
We made it I made 19,000 and I was just working and only making 39,000 a year, and I did this in 45 days. I'm lit. I'm working for myself.
Man.
Yeah.
So what's the next step? So how do you, cause now, y'all in it full time. You guys got probably the largest platform in America for mobile home investing. You own 4 mobile home communities. How do you get it from going to that 19 grand? Because I watched your story, you said you made 19 grand and like the next month you did like 12 or 9 grand. Still a significant amount of money, but it's a drop off. Yeah. At what point do you say, I'm cool with not going back to work or getting fired? Like what takes place in your life?
So for myself, I knew I was never going back. Like I was just like, because not only that, you said driving Lyft and things like that, it was still like I knew ways I can make income without having to go back. But this was like my entryway into real estate. And so now it's just like we just duplicate the process. You know what I'm saying? And at that time, it was an abundance of mobile homes for sale. And everything we were seeing, like I've never purchased a mobile home on over $5,000. Never.
Is that a part of your formula, the benchmark?
Kind of. Nowadays, I'm not gonna say it's tough. You can still find them, but I built relationships to where I get park managers that give me houses for free, just on the strength of like I know what I'm doing. They know, they know I can bring somebody in there to bring value to the community, and that's the biggest thing for me was just building those relationships. But bro, like the biggest thing, like the shift was just like, okay, how do we make this a business? Like, yeah, we know we hustling and flipping, but like, how do we make this a sustainable business and how we can continue to scale the business? And that's what helped us grow to where we are once we start scaling our business systems and all that good stuff.
So, but you get that 19 grand, like, was it hard to not go to the dealership and get you, or go to Jacob? And, like, how did you, was somebody mentoring you in this space to say, man, take those profits and reinvest? Like, what was it that told you to reinvest to try to scale so you can get to the point to where you are now?
Yeah, man, I think, okay, I was gonna say, honestly, it was just all the research I've been doing before that, right? Again, you know, going to real estate meetups, going to all these things, it was all about, listen, don't take that prop, keep investing and grow your bag, right? Yeah. And that was just kind of the sense for me. It was just like, all right, let's take what we need for rent and the things, our livelihood. We're not about to go lavish, and let's keep on doing this until we get to the point that we can, you know, start living comfortably.
Man, so that 19 grand, you took that, and you just started buying other mobile homes?
Yeah, reinvest.
Man. So at what point did you say, man, you know, let's, instead of flipping mobile homes, and if I, and break, before I even go to that next question, walk me through a deal, and like if somebody here is interested in buying a mobile home, walk me through how a deal works.
Yeah.
With owning a mobile home and renting it out. Walk me through like the ideal economics of that.
Yeah, for sure. So, you know, the first thing I'd say, y'all, is you want to go on Facebook Marketplace, start looking for deals, type in manufactured homes, right? That's a good thing. Craigslist, mobile homes, a lot of mobile homes aren't on your traditional Redfins, and they are, but the deals are on Facebook, the deals are on Craigslist, OfferUp, and things like that. Mm-hmm.
So I want to hop in real quick too. So even before you do that, I would suggest that you go on Google Maps and type in mobile home parks near me. And then that way you can see all of the mobile home parks. We in Chicago, so you'll see all of the mobile home parks that's kind of off 57, 94. Like they're all off the major highways. And then, I mean, we kind of in the wintertime, but we always suggest that you drive for dollars, because even though you can find deals on like the marketplace, like on some of these online sites like Craigslist, we have always got the best deals driving for dollars, and then really just getting out and talking to people in the community. So whether it be like people that's already living in the community or speaking with the park manager.
Yeah. So you just go up to the park, just knock on the door, like, are y'all looking to sell?
Yeah, you'll see for sale signs. So I encourage you see the for sale sign, call right there, because you can go see the house right there and negotiate from there. Once you you find a deal, like I said, you negotiate price. Normally, most parks have a process we got to actually apply. Mm-hmm. So that way you actually and that's a background check and credit check. But when I first got started, I had a 525 credent score. Wow! And that's when I realized, like, no, this is wide open, right?
525. I didn't know it went that low, to be honest.
I had a 520, and I'll be honest.
I'm stuck beside.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, that came from investing in myself, right? I maxed out all my credit cards on personal development, real estate classes. Like I knew, like, I had to get my mind right before I get my money right.
Right.
So it wasn't bad. You know, I wasn't making no money, but it was like, at least I'm gonna get this information that, you know what I'm saying, to later give me some value. So once you get them, you apply for the park, you get approved. Now the process, if it needs renovations, if it's a single wide, the beautiful thing about a single wide for a full gut, you're talking $14,000 tops for a whole renovated mobile home. Double wide, $25,000 tops. So you're talking about renovation prices way lower than what a bathroom costs in a single family home.
Okay, so you buying a mobile, so somebody in a mobile home park is selling their mobile home. Mm-hmm. So you come in, you buy it for $5,000. Mm-hmm. Typically, at that price point, at $5,000, is that a price point in which you have to go in and do renovation, or is that a move-in ready situation?
So it really depends on the homeowner. Like, the best advice I can give anybody is find out why they selling. Uh-huh. A lot of times, if they desperate, they got to move or something like that, then now, you know what I'm saying, they don't care. Because a lot of times, most people, especially in the Midwest, they don't know the value of their home, because there ain't no place that they can actually go and see what the value is. So they just want some money, right? Mm-hmm. So like you said, come in, if you add some value to it now, if you want to do a rental, what we encourage is find out what the average rent is in the area, right? Whatever the average rent is in the entire city, find out what that is. So if it's a 2-bedroom, let's say the average rent is $1,100. Well, you have a thing like I was talking about, lot rent with the park. The person has to pay that as well. So let's say the lot rent is $400. Mm-hmm. So if it's $1,100, now I know my margin from what I can bring in from my rental. And I always encourage people to do seller financing, because now you can pretty much sell a finance. You own the asset. You can play the bank, and now you can actually bring in that income without having to do repairs. Now that person is responsible for the repairs and everything like that, and then you just collecting your monthly income.
So when you buy this for about $5,000, you buying it cash.
Yep.
Y'all not doing no financing. And so then typically, how much is someone paying to you to rent out the mobile home?
So on the average, I would say anywhere from $450 a month to upwards to $800 a month. You find it depends on the market. Here in Illinois, like I said, tops you can probably get about $750 a month. And then if you like in other markets, let's say California, you can get rents as high as like $1,500 a month.
So, all right, I'm trying to figure this out. So why would I pay $750 a month for something that costs $5,000 to just purchase outright?
Yeah. So I was gonna say it's just like if you buy a house in the hood that you know that for $25,000 that you know you can renovate and add value to. It's the same thing, right? Like most people don't see the value in it and they don't think about, oh, I can go buy that for this price, fix it up and live in it. Most people just want to move in. They want the product already. Just like you're saying, the reason you go to McDonald's and you want them to prepare your food and already give them to you, right? Mm-hmm. Versus going to the grocery store and making everything and preparing yourself because you know it takes time. So for us, it's just basically finding that gem, adding value to it, now making it clean, safe, and functional. And now for them, it's move-in ready and they willing to pay that versus going up to an apartment complex and paying something. They rather have their own asset.
But this is nuts though. I mean, because I own a few buildings, but like I would love for my tenants to have paid me back my investment after like 8 months of just living in the building.
Yeah.
So if they paying you $800, what are your costs associated with maintaining that mobile home on a monthly basis?
So it's really no cost because we do the seller financing. So anything as far as maintenance with the mobile home, that's on the tenant buyer. So the only thing that I guess you could say cost associated with it would be the lot rent. But again, the lot rent is coming out of that monthly fee that the tenant buyer is paying you. So that's
$700. So that's $750 rent. Are they paying a lot fee on top of that?
Yeah, let's just say if you're in a market where you can charge $750 right for rent, and then let's just say the lot rent in the park is like $450, then yeah, they will be paying that additional $450 to the park, and then they pay the $750 to you.
So that $450 would go to the park manager.
Yep.
That $750 goes to you guys. But what about like light bill, heat bill, water bill, landscaping? Is that on you all?
So they are responsible for just gas, electric, the water, the landscaping, all that's included within their lot fee.
So what happens when somebody like, well, I got a bunch of questions. So number one, like, okay, if our leases like generally like a year, like traditional leases, or is it like a 3-year, 5-year situation?
So when we do seller financing, we normally do just like a car, right? Because we talked about it, like, we do anywhere from 5 to 7 years, sometimes three to 7 years. If you're doing rentals, you can do 1-year leases, 2-year leases, and things like that. But we prefer to allow somebody to buy that house in a very short period of time, so that way, again, it's just providing home ownership for them.
Wow. Okay, so so what happens if somebody pays late, like, or they don't pay the rent? I mean, or how do you prevent somebody from stealing the mobile home and just going to another community?
Yeah. So that's a good question. So the first part, I would say, if they're late, we have a system that had late fees. So we have after the 5 days, $50 late fee. And then from there, we had tenants before they just paid a late fee, right? They may get paid or, whatever they get paid, we try to help them out in that sense. If they don't pay, then it's a regular eviction process. Now, the reason I say we prefer to do seller finance, what we make our tenants do is we make them get on a lease with the park, and we make them get on a lease with us. So they got 2 responsibilities, because if they don't pay the park can evict them and they'll give us our asset back, and we can go ahead and rinse and repeat. Now, the last part of your question was
like, how do you prevent somebody, because it's not real estate at the end of the day, it's like personal property. So somebody could essentially just drive off, or however you move these things.
So that's the beautiful thing about it, right? It's not like So you need permits and everything to move a manufactured home, right? You talking about that's what if y'all ever see this, the homes, it say, you know, they have what is it called? It says like over wide or something like that, wide load.
Wide load.
So you got to have permits to move that. So it costs on a minimum, it's going to cost $5,000 to move this home.
Oh, okay. So, all right. So if I'm getting this right, man, so you guys are buying these essentially for like $5,000, maybe putting a couple more thousand into it. And maybe like after a year and a half, your money is made back from that transaction. Everything after that is just straight profit.
All profit.
Yeah, just cash flow.
At what point do you start buying like actual communities though?
Yeah, so
that seems like a whole, like when you don't hear about people buying like communities.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, honestly, that was the goal. Like I said, when we found out that they was getting, you know, they had 636 units and they was getting $575 per unit, and we did the math, we was like, no, this the larger game right here, right? This the game we want to get in. And so, you know, of course, for us, it was just like, all right, how do we get in it? So we start studying different park owners, right? We start studying different people that get in this game, and we start understanding like these communities, when we first started, you talking about 50 units was selling for less than $1 million. Now, we know a 50 unit in Chicago, you're not getting no 50 unit for $1 million.
Not at all.
Right?
Especially all the costs associated with maintenance of the roof, tuck pointing, you know, y'all just essentially landscaping.
Exactly.
Paying taxes.
Exactly. That's a really good way to describe it.
Yep. You like the real landlord, you know what I'm saying?
Wow. So walk me through the financing, because I mean, I purchased buildings, and essentially you just you putting down 20%, they asking for rent rolls. It's got to be different because, you know, you financing, I don't know, mobile homes. Like, how does the financing for something like that work?
Yeah. So for financing, the first thing, now you have more lenders, but when we first started, it wasn't that many lenders that was, you know, lending to mobile home parks. So your best bet was small community banks, credit unions, and then you had a few different other mortgage companies that finance mobile home parks. It's just like commercial real estate, right? You need the P&Ls, you need the rent rolls. You know, you make sure you gotta have a nice performer to show you how you're gonna forecast and see how you're gonna pay this. But check zoning, make sure it's not inhabitable, anything like that. The due diligence period normally on mobile homes is about anywhere from, I would say, 30 days to on a high end 60 days, right?
Yeah.
So the thing about mobile homes, we got to pay more down, right? So the average, you can find lenders that would, the lowest I've ever seen is 20% down, but on the average is 25 to 30% down that you got to have for these deals.
So, okay. And you said these are about $1 million?
So nowadays, a 50 unit, depending on where you are, a 50 unit can run anywhere from about, I would say anywhere from like 1.8 to 2.5 nowadays. Wow. 30 units are anywhere from 30 units or less can be from, you know, 750,000 to about 1.5. So, you know, after COVID, after the pandemic, that was one of the best performing asset classes. So when you start having larger hedge fund companies come in, Blackstone's, you start having Northwest Mutual, you start having these larger players come in because they start realizing like, yo,
sellers,
you're the sellers, exactly, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it kind of it ran the market up, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're still getting way more units for less money, and a lot of these parks, what we call mom and pop parks, their lot rents are still very low. So you have lot rents are like $200, $300. So a rule of thumb, a lot of park owners, we like our lot rents to be at least half of what the average rent is, or kind of in that same realm.
Oh, okay.
So we got a lot of meat on the bone. So, I mean, instantly what we able to make income is as soon as we buy it, we come and increase lot rents by 5%.
Damn. Okay. So your first deal the first community that you buy, is that something that you go and you guys raise money for? You use your own cash? Like, how were you able to get the deal done?
Yeah, so we the good thing about it, we were in an investment group, and our partner, man, he already has 7 mobile home communities. So he held our hand through the entire process.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So, okay. So you get in these mobile home communities, you buy one of them. I mean, what is going, like, how are y'all feeling as you are hitting these different milestones? I mean, you go from Because when did you buy the first mobile home?
2020.
In 2020. Mm-hmm. And now we in 2022 and you got 4 communities?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
How many mobile homes is that now?
So all in all, right now we at 282.
How do you do that in a 2-year time from going 525 credit to
really,
4
it really
mobile
is
home
like
communities?
a 4 years times, man.
Yeah. So honestly, relationships, man.
Yeah.
Relationships. I mean, like I said, I think once we start educating people and kind of sharing our knowledge, more and more people, more and more players in the game came and wanted to help us, right? And wanted to see how can they help, you know what I'm saying, the journey as well. And so
Yeah, so that's why I think it's important for us to be on platforms like how we on your podcast, because our partner that reached out to us and wanted to help us get in that first mobile home park deal, he saw us on a podcast.
Wow.
So he reached out to us he reached out to Byron on Instagram, and that's how we built that relationship.
So what about like the challenge of like being, you know, a minority in this space? Because when I think about mobile homes, I mean, and this might be my own ignorance, I don't think about Black people living there, period. I definitely don't think about Black folks owning it. I mean, what type of challenges did you have to overcome? And what gave y'all that type of confidence to say, man, we can do this, you know? Because in Chicago, we see multi-units on every block, you know, but to go into, you know, once you get to like out of Cook County, it's a different world, you know?
Yeah, so honestly, before we started, we thought it was gonna be a lot of racism. It's gonna be a lot of stigmas. You know, when I first started, I had like little Chief Keef locks. You know what I'm saying? So I just knew like, oh, these people ain't gonna accept me. But it was totally different. It was totally different. Like we was going to these communities and people, they was just embracing us, right? We thought that we like, you know, everything we thought could go wrong, it didn't. And I would say like, you know, I've approached doors with Confederate flags, being in their house. And when I left, Byron, man, nice to meet you. And I'm just like, you know what I'm saying? Like this weird, but at the same time, I looked at it like my mindset was like, man, money green. I don't care what color you is, money is green, bro. So we either gonna do this or we not. And I had to realize that like I'm helping them in the first place. So, you know, like you said, as far as it hasn't been a challenge. And I think since people look at us like, well, they don't look like from it, but we comfortable. We walking in, we prideful. We not kind of like ducking and trying to be like, but it's just like, for them it's just welcoming. And it's crazy that, you know, like so many people, even like we get a lot of students in the South and they going to places in the South that they would never go in Georgia or Alabama, and they actually being welcome.
Wow. Talk to me about, you know, when you scale at that level, especially as fast as you guys did, who are the most important people like on your team? You know, when you're trying to get a deal done, and even after you get a deal done in terms of managing everything.
Yeah, so you know, starting out your CPA, your attorney, and a broker. You know, again, unless you find off-market deals, and then once you, honestly, your park managers, your maintenance, like that's your eyes to the community. Like you get your park manager the free reign to, hey, listen, like it's your job to make sure these vacancies are filled. It's your job to make sure you communicating with the tenants, you know, everything that we need enforced. And then maintenance, making sure they do things on time, right? Making sure they, like you said, when you talk about like the landscaping, making sure that our community is clean, safe, and functional. So, you know, they're really there, you know, managing and maintaining, and pretty much, you know, reporting, you know, everything that needs to be fixed.
Damn. So, man, you said how many mobile homes? You said
282.
282. And we talking about the lot rent is how much?
So on the average, $425.
Man, who else doing math in here? You know what I'm saying? Man, that's nuts. So what are we hearing all these positive things? It's got to be some cons to like, you know, mobile home investing, man. I mean, what are like the downsides to it? Yeah.
So you want to start? All right. So honestly, starting out, I would say this. You know, you're dealing with a lower class, and I don't like saying the term lower class, but you're dealing with low income at times, right? Mm-hmm. And so a lot of times we're dealing with low income that don't look like us. So, you know, they can act like N-words too. You know, you'd be surprised because you like, bro, like, you know, it's a lot of finessing. It's hard to find good work too. Like good, like actual good, because as contractors, you know, when you're doing single family homes, you're doing multifamily, it's hard to find a good contractor. Mm-hmm. So in this space, it's people who don't like, they're not getting paid as much as a contractor on a single family home. So it's very hard. Like I'm talking about the average, I ain't gonna lie, the average person that we have that does renovations is either some ex-drug addict or they getting drunk every weekend. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's crazy. Like, yeah, we didn't pay people. Like, you gonna laugh, but we didn't pay people in Magnum beer before, bro.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, did a whole job in Magnum beer.
That sound like a pro. That don't sound like a con.
It's a pro, but it's a con when they stop answering that phone.
Exactly.
When they not answering the phone and you trying to get this household by the end of the month because you don't want to pay lot rent the next month.
Wow. So how was your life changed? I mean, I know if I walked back in my crib and told my mom, like, yeah, I own 200 something units. I know I had new cousins. I know I had new all type of whatever. How was your life changed in just the 4 years?
Man, I'll say we started off in Washington Park, 57th Indiana. Now we in Old Town. We started off with 2 Jeep Patriots. We got 2 Range Rovers. We started off being, we started off asking our family for money. Now we're the family to go to. Yeah. It's just a lot has changed. We've been able to travel the world, been able to do a lot of dope things.
That's what I was gonna say. We've been able to travel the world, which is something that I feel like we always talked about in the beginning, but we didn't think that we were gonna be able to do it, right? Because of our circumstance at the time.
Yeah. And I'll say one more thing. One thing we learned the hard way was taxes. You make a lot of money, you forget you got to pay Uncle Sam all his money, right?
That's what I wanted to ask about.
Exactly. That's a whole nother conversation.
Because in real estate, there are ways to circumvent taxes. Like if you depreciate something, do you get that same benefit in mobile homes?
Yeah, so we definitely got the bonus depreciation. Again, CPA had to put us on that. We didn't know that kind of stuff. We had to learn those different things. So there are a lot of tax benefits. The cool thing, one of our communities in the opportunity zone. So our partner was able to maximize the space, for the opportunity zone. And so, again, it's just you live and learn. Like I said, for us, Black folks, when we get some money, we went and did all the stuff that like most Black folks. We went to, shopped on Michigan Ave and all got all that stuff.
Nails she got. I see the nails. She ain't playing with them nails.
No, my nails stay done.
But, just learning, we got that out of our system. And now it's just really, learning to how to really build wealth and not look like you got the money, but more so like, no, we got to how we keep this money.
Damn. So what do you envision is next for you guys? Are you still trying to do you have a certain amount of units you trying to get to? Like, what's the end goal?
Yeah, man. So the goal for me is 3,000 units.
Wow.
3,000 units. We said we are going to be the largest African-American mobile home park investors in the country, in the world. And then from there, I think as we do that, man, I want to make sure that other African-Americans become park owners, more mobile home investors, because this is a $31 billion industry. And so, for us, this is something that, we see a lot of opportunity. A lot of people don't think about it. And so that's to us for opening the doors for more Black mobile home park owners.
What do you think makes people not be successful in this? Because it seems like from just it just seems like a low barrier to entry, low cost. I know $10,000 or $5,000 is a significant amount of money, but compared to flipping a house, the cheapest house you can probably get your hands on is going to be like $20,000 and probably need like $100,000 worth of work. Why aren't people busting down the doors and kicking down the doors to do this?
So honestly, I would say one, I think it still has to do with the stigma around mobile homes. And just when you think about investing, like we have some students that they're afraid to even drive through the park. Like they want to do it because they hear our story, they hear some of our students' success, but they like, okay, y'all say it's safe, right? And then two, the biggest hurdle that we see is because, like I said, starting out, you want to connect with a park manager. So you want to connect with the park manager, but a lot of park managers aren't friendly, right? Because one, they're not used to us coming in the community asking, okay, not only can I purchase a home, but can I invest in your community and then make money on the back end? Yeah. When the park manager is just making a salary and a low salary
look at her
at that.
Talking about just making a salary.
And I'm just saying, and a low salary at that. So it's really like you're not going to encounter a lot of friendly park managers, right? We've been blessed to encounter a lot of great park managers, but it is some park managers out there that they're going to shut the door in your face. They're going to hang up on you. So mentally, that can psych you out to be like, okay, is this really for me?
Yeah, and then it kind of attached to the easy part of being on a cell phone and, you know what I'm saying, being able to market it on Facebook, but that still work. Like if you put it on these Craigslist, you put it on these, you still got to continue updating this daily and be having the conversations. Because the minute you post a mobile home and saying like, hey, I got a mobile home for sale for $15,000 or I got a mobile home for rent for $850, you're going to have over 150 plus leads within like 2-3 days. And so now it's just a continuation to communicate. And so what most people think is, oh, I got this house, it's going to sell itself. Mm-hmm. But in mobile home investing, so the beautiful thing about single family homes is I'm going to get a realtor. So my realtor is helping me market that home, right? Yeah. I got a contractor. My contractor is making sure the process of this is going, right? I got an attorney making sure, like I got this dream team that helped me. Whereas in a mobile home investor, it's you. Is you, because you think about look at the cost of barrier you're doing, so you're wearing more hats. And so sometimes when people get into it, it's like they don't understand, like, hey, you got to wear these more hats, but even scheduling the time to make sure they do things efficiently, right? And so that's one of the biggest things we see. And then I would say the last thing is they want to hit the home runs, right? And so for me, profit is profit. So I always tell people like, okay, if you buy a mobile home for $5,000, if you sell it for $6,000 to $7,000, you just still made $1,000 or $2,000 profit. You still $2,000 richer than what you was. So what happens is we get people that buy a mobile home for $7,000 and they go put it on the market for $35,000 and don't want to touch it.
Damn.
And then they sitting on it. And now guess what? They got to pay lot rent. Because I tell people that's part of your holding cost is that monthly lot rent. So always put about 3 to 4 months. So if the lot rent is $400, had $1,200 to the side. So this is my operating cost. Because the goal is I want to sell this within 30 to 90 days.
So tell me, okay, so you guys, I mean, we're hearing about the success. Have y'all taken any L's even after you were up and running? Like even with maybe it could be partnerships. It could be in the form of, I mean, of course, if you have 200 some units, you're going to have some bad tenants, but talk to me about like you guys have a partner to do deals and get them done?
Yeah. So we do have a partner. Now for myself, I'm actually going to go into the owner operator space. Like normally, we always a part of a group and we do things together. But now, like I said, that group nobody look like us. Mm-hmm. So now for me, I'm going to start doing owner operator and pretty much closing deals. So that way I can bring in more minority partners within the group. But some L's, yeah, we definitely took L's. I mean, I got an L right now that we got to take a guy to court, $25,000 on a deal that, he pretty much been giving us the runaround, right? Mm. And, I would say I've had deals before that I purchased and I sat on too long, you know what I'm saying? My profits, and I can't call it an L. I still made money, right? But at the same time, it wasn't what I know I could do, not being disciplined enough within that deal. And then I would say as far as, doing one of our parks, we were actually losing capital. That first park that we bought, we were losing capital, but that park, so we got that park to collectively for $1.1 million. We ended up selling that for $2.7 million. So that made up for everything.
Damn. So how passive is this business? Is it something, I know you talked about traveling over the world. Like, is it something where you could take a month off and then come back and everything be straight? Or is it something you got to constantly have the laptop open, be driving through the neighborhood and answering phone calls?
Nah, man. So it's super passive for us. Like our parks are in Pittsburgh, PA. And so the reality is I tell people when you go into the mobile home park business, you want to buy the business. Like if you want to get a park and you want to get a park that you want to do a turnaround and renovate, then you will be doing the work, right? You will be unless you hire the proper team to run that for you. But even within your team, within the first 90 days, 90 to 120 days, you want to be hands-on. Now, for us, the parks that we bought, they had maintenance men. They already had the park managers. They had already the systems in place. So for us, it was coming in and just like we buying an already operating business, you got to add some quick little value. And then for us, the fact that we have a community, all of the vacant houses, we were able to pretty much sell to students.
What about, okay, so let's transition to this. I mean, you got the mobile home community. You guys are doing the buy and hold. You got flips, but you also got the education platform. Mm-hmm. How many students have come through your program?
Over 12,000.
Wow. So over 12,000 students. So I would imagine you got some strong testimonials.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we got a whole. I forgot what's the website? It's like student test, something MHES. I couldn't. I have to get it, but pretty much we have over 500 testimonials plus, and we got within our Facebook group is more than that. Man, it's been crazy.
Like at least I want to say this year alone, I know we had 10 come through one of our programs that hit 6 figures.
Wow. So what is it like to not only do the mobile home thing, now you come up with a whole other stream, which is the education portion, and you hitting 7 figures, you hitting $1 million in a year just on the education aspect.
Yeah, man, it's a blessing. I think that, the more you put out, the more you give, the more you receive. And honestly, I think the reason why we are blessed, because we don't necessarily look at that as like, all right, you know what I'm saying? We want to make money off of this, right? What I learned about it is we went from real estate to learn how to market. Mm-hmm. Right, to be a marketer, and so that marketing helps us with any business that we have. Right, we learn online business, so we had to start. It was definitely a shift from going to marketing mobile homes and marketing to like this is your target market. Okay, this is how you run ads. This is like, and so learning how to be a marketer, that was to me a dope skill to do. And it was like, for me, it go back to all of that life coaching things that I went through. Yeah. Now I can actually nurture my people. I can coach them, and I can coach them on mindset when they scared, right? Yeah. I'm hearing the stories that's, why everything they can't, because they're not believing in themselves and they stuck in their past. And now I'm able to take that skill set and help them. And when you start seeing them win, and now you starting to see them help their friends and help, like, that's the domino effect. And it's just like the money just secondary. The impact is the first thing. It's purpose over profit for us.
So what's the, like, okay, so I want to sign up for your program. What's like the end goal of, like, if somebody enrolls, what's like the typical person? What can they expect once they get in, and what should the outcome be, once they're done?
I would say getting into the program, you can expect the A to Z. So the A to Z blueprint, especially starting out, the end goal is, of course, for you to get a mobile home. So whether you flip it, if you're looking for cash flow, or if you're looking to wholesale and just kind of get some quick money, so then you can use that money to do a potential flip, like, that's really the inside of it. And then once you're in the program, I always say, like, make sure this is something that you really want to do. Because, right, we know, like, we see so many people doing stuff on the internet, and then we tap into it. And then once we do it, we like, oh, I don't know about this. Like, they said it sound good, but I'm having all of these problems. So we always say, like, even in the program, like, make sure this is something that you want to do. And if it's something that you love, then, of course, now we can talk to you about scaling, getting a mobile home on land, getting a mobile home community.
So, okay. So we got some people in the audience right now, and obviously going to have some people watching. If somebody wants to enroll, how would they go about doing that?
Yeah, so they can visit our website, mobilehomeeliteinvestors.com. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube at mobilehomeeliteinvestors.com. TikTok, right, at mobilehomeeliteinvestors.com. And then, all of our programs, everything, courses. And honestly, man, like, I tell people, like, start off on our YouTube. We got over like 212 videos of just mobile home information. You know what I'm saying? So that way you can get acclimated. And then if you want just a direct guide, that's when we have our courses and our programs to help people out.
That's dope. Well, Byron, Sharnice, Sellers, definitely appreciate you guys, tapping in with me on the Go Fish Village podcast. If y'all want to check out more podcasts like this or more interviews like this, visit me, www.gofishvillage.com. Appreciate you, bro.